And the ingredients for my Philly cheesesteak pasty are brisket, beef stock, Worcestershire sauce, onions, potato, jack cheese, and my guilty pleasure, American burger cheese. For the pastry, plain flour, butter, water, and egg yolk to brush. So let's start with the brisket. I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. Now, brisket needs a lot of cooking, but it really is a lovely, rewarding piece of meat once cooked. So first of all, we're going to seal it off. So away from you, in a pan. Now, I don't want little chunks of meat in here. I want a big steak in the middle. For me, this is going to be the ultimate pasty. And that is perfect. Plenty of colour and nicely sealed off all over. So next, in a large saucepan, I'm going to put the brisket in, and into the pot, we're going to pour some beef stock and add some Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon. I'm going to put the lid on, bring to the boil, and simmer for 2 to 3 hours or until the beef is cooked, tender, and just nearly falling apart. And now for the pastry. So take some plain flour, pour into the bowl, add a touch of salt, and take a whisk, give it a blitz just to get some air into it. Then take some butter. Really important the butter is cold and cut into equal lumps. Into the flour. I'm making kind of my take on a rough puff pastry, but it's now become my favourite. It's so buttery and flaky and it's got so much flavour. Now take some water, start to pour a little bit in at a time, and with a knife, just start moving it around. And you can start to see it's coming together, turning into almost like a dough. And now I'm going to finish off with my hands. It's really important that I've got those big clumps of butter in the pastry. The pastry's ready when it comes away from the sides, and you've got a ball like that. OK, now it's ready to cling film and put in the fridge. OK, now for the onions. And remember to breathe through your mouth. It's unlike me, you end up crying. So a nice bit of heat in the pan, and just add the onions, and just gently start sweating them off. It's going to take roughly about 10 minutes to be sweated down nicely. I'm now going to show you the beef. So the beef has been braised for about 2 to 3 hours, and I've actually let it cool in its juice. So as the meat has cooled down, it's also soaked some more juice into it. That is going to be amazing. I'm going to take half the onions and place into a bowl for later on. And then with the stock that we cooked the brisket in, we're going to pour into the remaining onions. I'm going to turn up the heat, bring to the boil, and reduce down until we've got a lovely, sticky, rich, oniony gravy. And now for the potato. And very carefully, with a mandolin, I'm just going to slice this nice and finely. And if you don't have a mandolin, just try and slice them as thinly as you can. And I'm just going to keep it in water just to stop it going brown. So now back to the stock. OK, now that is exactly how I want it. You can see it's thickened. You can tell it's almost like a little bit treacly just around the sides there. It's just starting to catch. So it's ready, but I need it to be room temperature. Now, a really good way to chill liquid is to pour on a large surface area. Now, that will literally take 10 minutes to cool down. Now, the pastry is ready. It's chilled and perfect for rolling. Take the rolling pin, and you'll see these clumps of butter through it are going to make the pastry just lovely, buttery and flaky. OK, the pastry to the right thickness, about 3 millimetres, and I'm just going to cut it, and this is going to be a big pasty. Now let's get ready to fill this. My first layer is going to be potatoes, onion and cheese.
I'm seasoning each layer as we go with a little salt and pepper.
So the beef is chilled, and so there's this lovely, rich stock. So, pour de jus. Then I'm going to take the brisket and lay on top. This is a beast. And because this is my Philly cheesesteak pasty, I'm going to get some American melting cheese as well. It's my guilty pleasure, and I apologise. And now, to fold the pasty. The basic shape. Just going to trim the edges. And what I'm going to do to crimp is to pinch and fold. So I'm going to pinch the corner and fold, and pinch and fold, and just keep working all the way round until you've got a lovely crimp shape. Now, before we bake this, one more thing to do. I've got some egg yolk and just brush all over. Now, this is truly worthy of legendary pasty status. And I'm now going to bake this beast for 1 hour at 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit. This has been baked and rested for 15 minutes. Now the time has come to cut open the beast. And just look at that inside. You've got the cheese and you've got a layer of the onions, you've got the beef brisket, and you've got this lovely potato gratin. That's the real deal. Oh, it's so good. The brisket melts in your mouth. What a pasty.
A monster street snack to satisfy any appetite. My Philly cheesesteak pasty.
And now for the beetroot dressing. Now, I've got some lovely fresh baked beetroot here, but it can be quite a messy affair. So I'm going to use some gloves for this. I'm going to take a new chopping board and take a beetroot, just peel away the skin. Now I'm adding granola because it's going to give it a real sweet taste and a lot more depth to the base. Put the lid on and blitz.